February 7, 2016, and we want to know. I asked Barbara Gordon to write me an intro, but she didn't remember!
Does Midnighter Bawana some pants? Just kidding, of course Midnighter doesn't Bawana any pants.
It's all coming up now, it's a savage.
But he can't just throw away all societal norms, he's not a monster.
Episode of DCR.
We rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
The Strike Citizens Radio.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of DCR. I remain Sean Lamont. I did not change my name this last week. Comic book reader extraordinaire, and I'm joined as always by the cohort in crime, Mr. Brian Glein.
I ain't here to cause no trouble.
No, you better not cause any trouble. I heard
We're the big game of podcasting.
I refuse. We make literally negative dollars off of this. I refuse to get sued for a negative dollar outcome. No. Be good.
Birds versus cats, the eternal struggle.
It really is. It really is. So, what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be talking about some comic bookeries. Most notably DC Comics, I believe. That's what I read.
Oh, man.
If you change this...
Why was I reading all different Avengers?
Oh, no. This could be...
Oh, man.
It's not April yet.
This is going to be an awkward episode.
But as such, I do want to give you guys some forewarning. We are going to be covering all of the plot beats, character lines, story developments, etc., etc. Some at a high level, some at an in-close, zoomed-in level. But if you don't want your book spoiled, do not listen to this particular episode. I think 3 weeks is good. I was going to do one more next week of a whack, whack, klaxon alert. So you guys know we are on the current weeks.
Yeah.
So we're up to date now. If you've been away for a little bit and you're just coming back thinking, they're a good month or two behind, I can at least catch up on it. We're not anymore. So we are going to be backtracking on the last month or two on some of the books this week. But, that being said, since we have T-minus 2 hours until I have to get this recorded, edited, and posted, let's go ahead and flee into this week's books. I'm fleeing.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. I see. Actually, I was gonna get a different kind of rocking because I was gonna make a dumb Savage Garden joke, but even I can't do that.
No. I'd prefer if you really didn't, honestly.
Savage Garden.
That we even had in the intro that you trampled all over that we were gonna get savage this week with.
All right, so I'm doing Action Comics number 49 plus a recap of the Savage Dawn.
Savage.
Ooh, yeah. All right, so...
Randall is ready.
Ready. All right, so previously on Action Comics, Superman was infected with Black Mass and fought an infected Frankenstein, and it was kind of anticlimactic.
Aww.
Yeah.
We so rarely get to see... I mean, he's getting another push again. It's like a renaissance for Frankenstein right now.
He's just all over the place.
Yeah, but still, I want his show-ups to count for something.
I know. So, yeah, we find out that Wrath was Vandal Savage's daughter. This was more shocking when it came out because it was like the first reveal, I believe.
Okay.
But she worked her way up to being a mayor of Metropolis right before Doomsday Superman hit.
Whoops.
It's like day after inauguration. It's like, cool, I get to work with Superman. Oh, wait.
He leveled my city.
Yep.
Super Doom.
Yep. So Superman absorbs all the black mass off of like literally everyone. He's like uses his black mass powers that he had.
Okay.
Absorbs it off of everyone and uses it to
Just a reminder, that's all the shadow stuff, right?
Yeah, the shadow goop, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he uses mega shadow power to stop the black mass bombs that Wrath was dropping, and then Vandal Savage shows up, disappointed in everything, and he puts all the black mass back in his little black mass box that he has.
He has one of those?
It's like a little pencil box, and he just opens up, bloop.
I never did trust pencil boxes. Yeah. I did think they were a little weird, so that makes a lot of sense that they contain black mass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so everyone is back to normal again, including Lee and Superman. So yay!
Yay!
And
I thought
all
Lee
the
was
kids.
kind of cool as a shadow goofy
I thought she
person.
was too. She did all those cool action poses.
Yeah, maybe she'll get some remnants of that still in her, or maybe she'll be the holder of the pencil box and protect it, and can open it up every now and again.
She's carrying it around. Some random kid just books her from behind and like drops it. And it's like, oh no, I've got the black mass again.
Shoot! I should probably call somebody.
I got the black mass, paw. So it continues on in Superman Annual 3, and we get the actual Savage Dawn.
Savage.
So which I think is the starting point for all of these Superman comics, to just start going in order one by one.
Okay.
So after we basically have fun unjumbling all this stuff as I try to explain everything.
Okay.
So the issue is divided with Superman dealing with not being the most super of superheroes, having Flash show up to deal with his like first tussle with the robot-only Puzzler bot. Lex Luthor calling in the big guns of the Justice League and specifically leaving him out just to be a dick. So
Lex is still being catty then, is what
it's like, I need Flash and Shazam and Cyborg and Wonder Woman, the big guns of the Justice League. It's like you called everyone there, huh? You called everyone. All right.
We should get Element Girl up here as well. Wasn't she just getting us a shake from the
from the Big Belly Burger?
Yeah. Whatever did happen to her.
I think she showed up on Doom Patrol or something, and they forgot about
She did, but it was just very funny that everyone was just like, yeah, she went to go get us Big Belly Burger, and then never came back, and no one said a word.
Yep. So the rest of the issue is the intercut, but the rest of the issue is the life story of Vandal Savage, how he found a meteor that made him immortal back when he was a caveman, which was deflected from hitting Krypton thousands of years earlier, which I thought was kind of funny.
That is kind of funny. That's the link, huh? Krypton was just like, nope, and knocked it
Yeah,
over.
it's like probably like Superman's like great-great-grandfather was just like, I built a missile to knock out this meteor so our planet didn't blow up, and everyone's just like, science is bad, no!
Meanwhile, on Earth, Vandal Savage, donk, the world's first Hal Jordan, bonked on the head by a meteorite.
Yes. And so basically now every 100 years or so, when the main part of the meteor like passes by Earth, he wants to try to harness it so he can get even more power, because being immortal, meh.
Well, I mean, does it make him stronger or anything? Is it giving him more powers than just? I thought that was the whole thing. He was just immortal.
Like,
because he
feels like there's more power like coursing through him when it like goes over him.
Okay,
so he keeps trying to get closer as he tries to like chart and see like how long it takes to come around.
Couple thousand years just jumping. He got on a really high hill and was like,
yeah, like one of his
big butterfly net, just trying to catch it.
Yeah, like one of his old mentors. It's just like, hey, look, that looks like the meteor you're looking at. Or that you were always talking about. It's like, yes, that is. How long does it take for it to come around? It's like, oh, I can't tell you that. That's too dangerous. Like, you jerk.
Why would that knowledge be too dangerous?
I don't know, but
they already know he was an immortal caveman?
It leads to a long string of him just bashing his father figures over the head with rocks.
Okay.
That's the running through line of Vandal Savage. He's going to find
Vandal
a father
Savage, man of science.
Yeah, every era he finds a father figure, gets mad at them, and bashes them over the head with a rock. You can take the caveman out of the cave.
Does it then zoom in with like a little circle on him and go, that's Savage? And he's
like, so century by century, I do love the fact that before the Renaissance, he mentions those annoying demon knights. I'm so glad I'm through with them. And it's like, ooh, come on. It makes me smile, if anything, that someone acknowledges existence besides me.
Hey, they still have their tie to the present day since they were the first members of Stormwatch.
Very true. And
so I mean, it still carries over, kind of, even though Stormwatch kind of died too. But still,
I think Secret Six snuck like a horsewoman statue into a museum or something.
Oh, really?
Like that.
That's cool. That's pretty cool.
It made me happy. Let's see. There's also a hilarious episode where he's forced to team up with the buffoonish Captain Nazi to try to touch the meteor. It's like, why are you flying the spaceship to take me to this meteor, Captain Nazi? He's like. I just
Nobody wanted me back in Europe. I had to leave.
Looks too dangerous. Like, oh, you idiot! He doesn't bash him in the head with a rock, but
Well, there's a mini that's just waiting to be drawn.
The Adventures of Captain Nazi and Vandal Savage.
Captain Nazi and Captain Caveman teamed up together once more.
Oh man, yeah. And also, all the Vandal Savage stuff is drawn by Ben Oliver from Multiversity's The Just, so it just looks gorgeous.
Okay, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, he's really nice. So while Superman deals with not being super down on Earth while the JLA is off saving the world, the Watchtower shows up over Metropolis. He's like, hey, guy. Just sort of like waves like, I know you're really far away, but hey, what are you doing here? And then a gigantic space warship that's like 10 times bigger than the Watchtower latches onto it, and it's Vandal Savage and his kids and Frankenstein, and not Superman doesn't care how powered down he is, he's still going to find a way to stop it.
Does he get a giant butterfly net and climb up on a hill and try to grab the Watchtower back? It's a reversal of roles.
Back to Action Comics. The Savage Dawn assault continues. Savage. And it starts with Savage and the Supremacists using their superpower draining weapons on the Justice League and capturing them.
It would seem like Captain Nazi would be a good member of the Supremacists. Was he on this team?
He was not.
No.
They do have a little symbol on their head that, depending on who's drawing it, either looks like it's just a triangle with some, or like a diamond with some lines drawn through it, or a swastika that's kind of like got sloppy little dots around it.
Fair enough.
Let's see. Savage manages to drop the black mass bombs all over the place, and Superman can only save one measly person as hundreds die.
Yeah.
Well,
that kind of sucks.
Yeah, you really Man of Steel that there, buddy.
Wow. Hey.
And he actually wanted to save the people this time, you know.
He wanted to save everyone. That's his thing.
Yeah. So he
back off, man. It's years now.
I know.
It's years.
I know. It's just a running gag at this point. So he charged. So Vandal Savage changed the black mass so it basically will weed out all of his descendants and give them superpowers. So it's kind of like the Inhumans, but we're supposed to not like them.
Okay.
You know.
I just got that. Okay, fair
so
enough.
Superman almost loses grip on a school bus falling off a bridge, but Steel and the Justice League United shows up to help. Yay! A surprisingly TV-style Atom shows up to help as well, because convergence.
Does he have his super suit? Does he shoot
he,
little lasers all over
I don't
the
know
place?
about lasers, but it looks like the super suit.
Is he rent an Iron Man style Atom in this one?
A little bit.
Okay.
It looks better. You know, when it's drawn by Aaron Cooter, it looks better than the TV suit.
Touche.
But, you know.
Touche. I have no qualms with the TV suit for the budget they have. I think they do a really good job.
For a TV budget, yeah, I'm just saying it looks better in the comics.
Sure.
As you would expect it to, because there's no budget. So they shrink down and sneak onto the Vandal Savage ship, and Superman is able to save Wonder Woman with his Metallo suit that he borrowed.
Okay.
Which is powered by kryptonite, which is draining his power, but he still needs to save his friends because he's Superman and he's stupid and he always tries to save everybody.
Is this leading up to the whole, hey, this kryptonite is actually helping me thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he's able to save Wonder Woman, but then Wrath turns on Savage and there's a big explosion. Hoarder shows up out of nowhere.
Hey guys, remember me?
Yeah, and it just like causes even more problems and like electrifies everybody.
And then a pantheon of Korean gods come in and WrestleMania breaks out.
No, not yet.
Come on!
No, not yet. And Superman and Wonder Woman fall to Earth as Savage and company captures the Justice League B team. So now there's really no one to save Superman. Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh, indeed.
Yeah, so then we continue on to Wonder Woman supporting cast healing Superman. He gets the crazy idea that kryptonite can cure him because he started to feel like his powers coming back while he's wearing the Metallo suit.
Yes.
He teams up with Steve Trevor, fights the new puzzler, sits on a throne of kryptonite, and here we are.
Oh, sweet. Hi. Hello, present day. How are you?
Yeah. So Superman powers up thanks to the kryptonite and gets new powers, but they're kind of burning him up inside. But he doesn't care. He's going to go punch Vandal Savage. So Savage is using all of the powers of the Justice Leaguers he captured to, like, power his spaceship.
Okay.
I said power a lot there, but
yeah, that was a lot of power.
It was a lot of power.
More power.
No one man could...
Indescribable power.
No one man could deal with all that power. So he's going to go punch Vandal Savage. He's using the powers to... he's shooting a beam into space. Just, a random beam.
Okay, well, at least he's not shooting Earth with it.
Yeah.
Yay!
Well, and then he's also, like, shooting Earth as well.
Oh.
But,
boo.
like, So, Superman and Wonder Woman try to storm the spaceship, but Vandal sends Salvax the Barbarian after him.
Oh, is it Vandal Savage from his Barbarian days?
No, it is not.
Oh, come on. How do you do that?
They beat each other up. Superman almost loses it on him, but he knocks off his helmet, his tiny little, like, Spartan helmet that he just had. And he sees that he's just a kid with, like, a grotesque Conan the Barbarian physique.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, because he was, like, a nerd that got made fun of and lived in a fantasy world, so the mists made him into his favorite sword and sorcery hero.
Sword? You go that route again?
Mm-hmm. So he's now Salvax the Barbarian, probably breaking all sorts of copyright laws by becoming his favorite hero.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Salvax just sounds like a very aggressive charity. I don't know why. It just has a very, very like, give us money so we can help people.
Really strong topical cream. So Diana watches Savage's ship teleport away. So hitching a ride on a LexCorp satellite, she is able to see that the shot he fired was at Jupiter, increasing the mass of Jupiter and pulling its moons into itself. Shrug? I don't know.
That's a plan.
That's a plan. He tells Diana to take...
He's going to make Jupiter into a larger gravity pool. He's making an interstellar butterfly net is what he's doing so that the meteor gets stuck in a loop around the sun and Jupiter.
Oh my God, you're right. That's exactly what he's doing. Holy crud. Science. So he tells Diana to take care of Salvax because he has to go stop Vandal Savage because he teleported away to steal the Fortress of Solitude.
Like parts of it, or
no? Like he teleports his gigantic warship over the Fortress of Solitude, and then just like alien abduction beams the entire Fortress of Solitude up out of the North Pole.
So there isn't like a page of Salvax operating the crane hand trying to pick it up, and every single time it falls
man, if
out,
only.
he's like, damn it, Salvax, you're 11. We thought you'd be better at this.
Yeah, so it's like. Vandal Savage, I don't know how much interaction he's had with Superman, but he hates this Superman.
Apparently he got the message that Krypton was responsible for knocking that meteor over his head or something. I don't know what all he's had as far as... He hasn't had too much of a run-in the New 52, at least.
Besides back in the day, and him just sort of like randomly showing up during Forever Evil as like a third-tier guy.
Yeah, Forever Evil, he was just kind of milling about a little bit, but I mean, there really wasn't that much.
He showed up in that book that got canceled that I can't remember. That was about like the 7 Deadly Sins.
The
Pandora,
yeah. He hated her more than Superman, it seemed. So
yeah.
I don't know, but whatever. He's got all the time in the world. He can just pick new arch nemesis. He's got a link to Superman now. He knows it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he can
we know, if anything.
Well, we know it, if anything. But yes, intergalactic butterfly nets. I'm all about it here now. Interesting, though, I have to admit, as far as... I
love how Superman keeps getting new powers that are basically killing him.
Yeah, he's not doing too well right now as far as the... He looked a little bit more playful, like when he hooked up with Wonder Woman in this issue.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, hey, Wonder Woman, look, I'm flying again.
I know these green veins are kind of throwing off my color scheme, but come on, we'll get used to it. Maybe Lex will finally let me hang out with him.
Yeah, they can just stand next to each other, green and purple, and then green veiny... Maybe give him a purple suit. Give him a Zur-En-Ar Superman suit, and then he's good to go.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's happy.
Every single person.
Are you still enjoying it, though?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good. I'm happy to hear that the Superman stuff is
I'm liking this run, and I love Vandal Savage, so, hey.
Well, yeah, that's a win-win for you, so it's a kind of an unfair question to ask, I guess, for an unbiased opinion.
I got to see Aaron Cooter draw the original Justice League United crew.
So, yeah.
He draws a mean Adam Strange.
Yeah. So I'm just going to rescind from asking you that question sometimes because that was completely biased. It didn't matter if it sucked and anything. You'd be like, hey, this is kind of up my alley. Well, I get to try something new.
Goat form Animal Man is amazing.
Goat form. I get to try something new this week because you pawned off Batgirl to me.
Yes.
I got the Batgirl because this is the reasoning he gave me. There's video games and stuff in it, so yours. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know I was the foregone authority on video game items here. You've played just as much video games as I have. Kind of. Probably like
I'm still many years behind on everything.
Well, yeah, maybe not current, but most of my stuff's old school too. Come on, man.
Okay.
Come on. So let's talk Batgirl. Barbara Gordon, known for having an eidetic memory, remembers everything. Until now. As of late, her memory has started to go out around the same time that these nightmares she keeps having, where some creepy-looking monster dude keeps, messing with her memories during her sleep, and then she wakes up and she remembers things differently, and things just aren't the way they're supposed to be. So let's cover some backstory here. She teams up with Bluebird and Spoiler to track down who is stealing her information because she's finding out the cops are getting information that only she had and she never made it available and arresting her informants based off of evidence that she had gathered. And she's like, man, how are they getting all this information? So she teams up with her gal pals for the first time when it comes to some of them. Not quite the first time for others. Actually, not quite the first time for either, but she doesn't remember Bluebird because I don't remember. And they go into the police station, break in, and find out who gave them the tip, and it turns out to be none other than Barbara Gordon herself. And they're like, Barbara, you're the one that gave this tip. And Barbara goes, I don't remember! And screams to the heavens, and they go, okay, well, chill, we'll figure it out. After some careful editing by the dream monster that's changing her memories, she decides to open a business alongside Luke Fox, aka Batwing, based off of some calculations that she made that, if her memory is correct, actually would create clean, renewable energy for everyone. It's like cold fusion, basically. And she's like, holy crap, that's awesome. At first she's going, well, my memory's a little flaky, and if my calculations are wrong, that would blow up the world, so maybe we shouldn't do it. And then the dream monster goes, would you woo, and edits her memories. And the next day she goes, no, we should totally start this business and do it. And Luke Fox is going, yeah, you weren't really that gung-ho about it yesterday. And she goes, really? I don't remember. And Luke goes, okay. Chill. That's okay. Fine. We'll just do it, and we'll make sure we double check and triple check all the calculations. You gotta stop the screaming into the heavens stuff though, Barbara. Getting a little bit creepy. As if that is not enough, though, she is also entertaining her childhood friend, known as Greg, who is looking for a new place in Burnside and just needed a place to crash. And there is a running joke throughout the entire thing where everyone that meets Greg assumes he's a bad person and beats the crap out of him, i.e., her roommate comes home and finds him rifling through her dresser drawers and beats the crap out of him, to Barbara coming home going, no, I told him he could use the USB cable in there. It's okay. Stop beating up my childhood friend. And then the next time, Dinah Lance, Black Canary shows up and starts beating him up, and Barbara walks into it and he goes, he was doing your taxes. And she's like, why would we stop him from doing that? That seems like a lovely thing for him to do. That is very nice of him. And it turns out what he was actually doing was gathering information to help them track down people. And, he's working for a company that is a startup that uses ancillary information to try to pin down where people are or were to try to find missing people. He goes, yeah, I knew you were trying to find somebody, so I was you were trying to remember where you were going, and you were having these blackout things, so I was trying to help you piece together where you actually were. And they go, oh, well, shit, that would be awesome. That's exactly what we need. So they go, okay, real quick though, there's some bad guys downtown that we have to take care of. You gather up all the information and we'll come back and figure that out. And that turns out to be Co-op. Brian, you remember Co-op,
yes.
Right?
They're from the 8-page preview.
Yes, the Tron villains, the video game guys that are all about Player 1 and Player 2, who like video games and turn to a life of crime based off of video games.
Because video games, they were right about GTA all along.
They've never actually given a reason why these guys are doing what they're doing. I mean, this one, they're trying to plot their revenge against Batgirl for ruining their video game maze that they made in the preview stuff. But no one really is understanding why they're doing it in the first place. But they're like, we'll get our revenge on you, Batgirl. And Batgirl goes, who are you people? And they go, yeah, we fought. There was a video game death maze. There was lasers everywhere. How do you not remember this? She goes, I don't remember. And screams into the heavens. What's right? I feel like there's a plot beat that's being delivered to us somehow. It's very don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, with the Wayans brother that keeps popping up and going, message! I actually really like that.
That's the one good Wayans brothers movie.
I like that running gag throughout the movie. But they come back, they find Greg, and Greg goes, well, hey, I found out where you were when you were giving off that tip to the cops. According to this, you were over at Luke's apartment that night, so you'd probably want to check with him to see if you made any phone calls. They call Luke, and Luke goes, you weren't over here at all. You were never here that day. And she tracks down her information and finds out that she was actually at the old abandoned archive building in Gotham City by tracing her cell phone and where it was, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So her and Black Canary head on over to the old archive building where they run across the dream monster that has been living within her mind in physical form. A guy by the name of the Fugue. Ooh, spooky. And they fight him and beat each other up and everything. One great line where Black Canary goes, "I'll sing, you dance," and she starts doing the little canary cry while Batgirl does little flips over it and kicks him in the head. And I was like, that's kind of a nice little tagline for those two. Mm-hmm. It is really a great tagline for that team right there. But they end up demasking him.
And then she's like, "Hey, Barbara, doesn't Fugue kind of look like those like bad guys from the new Star Wars movie?"
No.
I can't remember. And Fugue's just like, "Hey, I was obviously designed before that came out. Thank you very much."
Obviously, thank you. But they do demask the Fugue, and he turns out to be her childhood friend, Greg. No, actually,
I never would have guessed.
I know it's a running joke on our show that whenever anyone is introduced as a childhood friend, they are automatically the villain for that arc, and it works out that way almost 100% of the time. Almost not without fail, it turns out that whenever a new character is introduced that was a childhood friend of the hero, they will be the villain in that arc. It never fails. So in this case, though, we have a twist on that.
And Luke Fox should know all about this, too.
I know! He's the one that we really hammered that home with Snakebite or Venom or whatever his name was. But in this case, there is a twist on that little story trope, because Greg never actually was her childhood friend. He edited her memories to make her believe that he was her childhood friend because he knows the rules. He can't be a new villain and be a credible threat without being a childhood friend. So he literally had to come in, use his powers to make himself her childhood friend, and then plot against her at that point. And I was like, well played, Fugue. Well played. You win this round. I can't fault you on that front. But they end up continuing to fight, and Barbara's just all betrayed because she can't trust any of her memories at all whatsoever. And as they're about to end the fight, the Fugue goes to escape, but he gets one last mind whammy off on Batgirl, and it looks like drains her of all of her memories, and then escapes off into the night, leaving Black Canary to hold the kind of comatose, drooling body shell of Batgirl and screaming to the heavens, "No!" as the camera pans above them in a big circle and the rain falls, even though they're inside, down on them, and she's like, "No!" Drama! No, it's amusing. As I said, it's very... It has a lot of style to it, a lot of panache. At
one point, Batwing and Batgirl get turned into luchador versions of themselves, like co-op.
Like Tron luchador versions of themselves, digital anime character or JRPG style, whatever. It's got a lot of style, it's got a lot of panache, the memory stuff seems to be a very big sticking point for the weaknesses that they keep trying to give Barbara Gordon, though, it seems. Like, the digital version of her was out there and messing around and doing stuff in her name. And then, before it was her, she had PTSD, like in the Gail Simone stuff from her memories of the time when the Joker showed up. It's just always memories. Her mom, her dad, her brother. It's always memories. I'm hoping we get to more of a focus on the present and a less on her eidetic memory. Eidetic.
However you pronounce it.
Yeah, whatever. Less of that and more on her as a human being, I guess. It just seems like it's been a story crutch for a long time in the New 52 as far as her perfect memory. And I'm hoping it kind of... I understand that's her only superpower.
Yeah.
I understand that's like what separates her from the normal Joe Schmoes in the rest of Gotham City. But I think she's an interesting enough character without that being the crutch of storytelling.
Yeah, just being cool friend of Batman's pretty all right too.
Yeah, that is an A-OK ranking right there.
The daughter of the police commissioner who fights crime against his wishes. That's kind of an awesome story to begin with. I should take
it back. There's a bunch of stuff. There's like a conversation between Commissioner Gordon and Barbara where they go out for dinner and they're both kind of probing each other for information, and neither one of them wants to drop the bomb on who they are. As far as like, the new office work has me doing a lot, and she's like, my research has led me to find this. And they're both just dancing around the obvious, and it's a very cute scene. I like
giant sweat bubbles coming off their heads.
Again, that dynamic right there is much more engrossing to me than the mind whammy childhood friend stuff, because it's just telegraphed so far ahead for me anymore that I'm just like, okay, let's get there. Let's get to it. Do I continue on?
I think you do Batman and Robin Eternal.
I like the artwork in Batgirl, though. I do have to say. I know it's
great.
a stylistic thing, and some people don't really care for it.
There's a lot of people that don't care for it.
But I think it fits for the tone of the stories they're telling, and it works for me. That's me personally. Batman and Robin Eternal number 18. That seemed very energetic for a title of a book. Not really all that much happened, honestly. To be frank, a lot of the stuff that we already knew was coming. What's that?
I thought you were Sean.
I am Sean. I'm not Frank.
Okay.
I said to be frank.
Oh.
This is what I would say.
Okay, gotcha.
If I were Frank, but I'm not.
Frank's weird.
Frank is weird.
Always screaming about comic book titles.
Yeah. Summarizing things a lot. That Frank. I swear. At least he's no Greg. My childhood friend that I remember very fondly. Everyone's together at Spiral. The team has all gotten together. All of the Robins and the Cassandra Cains and the Harper Rose and the what's her name? Not Cassie. Stephanie Brown.
Stephanie Brown. There we go.
Mind blank there completely. She didn't do much in this issue, so I can't really say. I didn't have her in my notes at all, so sorry about that. They're all back at Spiral headquarters, the school, finishing school, St. Hadrian's finishing school for assassins. They leave off the 4 assassins on the sign, of course.
Or it's just up there on the sign, it's like scratched out. There's like spray paint through it. It's like, no.
No.
We couldn't afford a new sign, but don't worry about that.
Does that say for Asians? Yes, that's what it says. Not assassins.
A little exclusionary, but whatever.
So they're all together at the school now, and they're finally figured out with the information that Tim and Jason have brought from the Order of St. Dumas what the super weapon was that Mother and the Order were putting together, and that is the Ichthys, the fish monster, the dinosaur thing from back in the day, the ICHYTH.
Ichthyosaur.
Yeah. You know what I mean. But it's a modified version of fear gas that only traumatizes teenagers and younger. So it makes them traumatized so that Mother's plan, you know how she traumatizes kids and then molds them into basically Batman style. They become much more malleable in their personalities and skill sets, and she can use that recovery period to basically form them into build a person. That's her MO, at least, is what she does. Well, she's made this ultimate gas that does that to all teenagers that are exposed to it, because there's not enough tormented bat people in the world. We will have a generation of childhood friends fighting each other in the streets now. And they're all like, this seems like a horrible, horrible plan. Meanwhile, Orphan is filling in Harper Row on the fact that, yes, Cassandra Cain did kill your mom, that you were the build-up Robin that was ordered by Batman during his little escapades in the past. And Cassandra was ordered to go and kill you and your mom and your dad so that you would be an orphan and we could bring you in. But she failed us after she killed your mom. She felt really, really bad and let your dad escape. And that's why you had just kind of a broken home with a crook for a dad and everything. Maybe it would have been better if we just killed her dad, but she was trying to be nice. You gotta understand. She felt really bad. Didn't really mean to screw you over like that. And, now I think about it, that was kind of a bad plan. But she's all like, no, screaming into the night. And in flashbacks, we actually see what happened that night where Batman is about to take down Orphan and Mother, and she shows him the live feed of Cassandra Cain killing Harper Row's mom, and then kind of gives him this really shitty ultimatum, kind of a like, hey, we delivered on our end of the bargain. It's your choice what you do now. You can either leave her as collateral damage to your little international globe-trotting game that you've been playing here and just let her life suck off in the Narrows by herself, or you can take her under your wing and pull her into the life that you absolutely did not want to do whatsoever. So What you do from here is your choice. I'm out. Peace. And she cracks down on a fake tooth that releases cyanide to kill herself. And he's like, no, that's not fair. You can't do that. He goes to inject her with the antidote for it, but then all of the cops show up and start shooting at him, so he has to run away, leaving the antidote behind, but he just assumes that she died from the whole thing and goes, well, another chapter closed in the Black Case Book of Batman, and kind of all tidy. But we don't see where he goes from there. When you go back and read some of the earlier New 52 Batman stuff, though, it does paint it in a different light, where he was so adamant about not allowing Harper Row to come into this lifestyle, and to the point where he's like physically abusing her and just like yelling at her to go away. I mean, you remember those issues?
Yeah, I do remember those, yeah.
It paints it an entirely different light, where she just shows up and starts doing it on her own, and he's like, no, you can't do this. The bad memories. I left you to wallow in your misery in the Narrows. I was supposed to forget about you. La, 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 la. So it does paint it in a much more interesting light for the character. For me, at least. I'm not sure everyone. It seems to be a 50-50 split on Harper Row. I'm not going to lie. 50% of the audience seem to like her. 50% seem to hate Harper Row as a I know everything and I'm good at everything way too quickly with very little training. And so for me, that at least paints a little bit more for her, but it still doesn't really explain the whole, oh yeah, I'm a master electrical engineer and I put together giant shock rail guns in my basement just cause, like all teenagers do.
She did have a whiff of Poochie about her when I first saw her. When Harper Row isn't around, everyone should be asking, where's Harper Row?
Where's Harper Row? But back in the present, things get more interesting when Mother releases the Ichthys in the one place she feels it will do the most damage. St. Hadrian's finishing school for girls and assassins/Asians. Leaving everyone in the bunker down below and Spiral headquarters to lock all the doors as all the teenagers go on a rampage, tearing through the halls, and they all try to figure out what they should do, as Jason says, well, Tim and I should be old enough to not be considered teenagers now, so we should be safe to go out there and deal with this. And they're like, how old is Tim? I don't know. I'm sure he's not a teenager, though. He's way too stuck up to be a teenager. Let's go, guys. And they go charging off into the mist, where we see things probably aren't going to turn out well. I do have to say, Thomas Maglio on Facebook did point out that Tim, you know how we've been saying that Tim might still be a sleeper agent for Mother, at least up to last week, because of that whole panel where he answered the phone call and said, yes, Mother. Going back, as Thomas pointed out, yes, it looks like it was actually him talking to his mother, and he's just a little creeper that would actually speak that way and say, yes, Mother, I shall be home soon. So it doesn't change the fact that Tim's not a weirdo, but it does change the fact that he's probably not under control of the supervillain Mother. So I wanted to clarify it because we were painting that in a light that seemed like we were still waiting for him to turn on us and go all evil and work with Mother. Not that I would be surprised, because Tim just kind of does whatever the writers feel they need Tim to do at that moment. I've enjoyed him more in this Batman and Robin Eternal than I have in many other places, but that's only because he's juxtaposed against Jason Todd, and he's the uptight of the odd couple, and Jason Todd is the crazy zany guy, and they work together very well in that dynamic. So just thought I would clarify.
All right, and continuing on with Batman Beyond, thanks to alphabetical order.
Thanks to alphabets.
Yep.
That's why they're the most valuable company in the world. They got this thing in order.
All right, so previously on Batman Beyond, former Red Robin Tim Drake, who as we all know is currently living in the future under the guise of Batman Beyond, has just...
Do you have all the letters again?
Oh, so I forgot about the future.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
He has just let one of Terry McGinnis's arch enemies that wasn't in Future's End at all take care of Future's End Big Bad Brother Eye. So now he's rebuilt the Batman Beyond suit. Barbara Gordon has taken over the talking in his ear role because the Alfred AI is fried.
Okay.
So
that was one of my favorite characters out of this.
I know, I did like AI Alfred. So he's trying to track down people who are stealing eye tech to use for nefarious means. I wonder why...
Oh, nefarious means. I thought you said nefarious memes. Just like, they keep polluting the internet with these horrible
I can't
memes.
has brother eye spider legs.
Nice try, Brother Eye. We're on to you.
EYE Ken has. Wonder why Mayor Luke Fox won't let refugees into Gotham, and figure out where Terry's brother Matt went. We also get a nice sequence that explains who the heck Micron is,
Okay.
and how he's the last surviving member of the Justice League Beyond. And it's also a sequence that just makes me want Bernard Chang to draw a Big Barda comic, because she looks flippin' awesome in this.
Yeah.
With all of her action poses and just hitting things with gigantic sticks. Yeah. Kirby dots everywhere.
I think it's just him doing New God stuff, period.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need if it comes down to it.
I would not be opposed to that.
He's already redone he already had his hands in with a bunch of the other New Gods. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, during the Lantern stuff.
During the Lantern stuff. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too bad to see his stuff on a strictly New Gods style book.
Miracle and Barda. Wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yep.
We also see that Terry McGinnis' little brother Matt, is going to Metropolis for some reason. He has a Green Lantern's robot hand, with the ring even. And for some reason, Metropolis is overrun with commandy animal people. Whoops. And
just cause.
And also, guess what? Bernard Chang is awesome at drawing animal people. Shock. Shock of all shocks.
Surprises run abound.
All right, so now we're all caught up to this week. So former Red Robin Tim Drake, who as we all know is currently living in the future under the guise of Batman Beyond, has tracked Matt to Metropolis, and we see what a wasteland it has become. Terry pops out and
just
does
animal poo piles everywhere.
Well,
no one even walks around with a baggie to clean it up.
We'll get to that. Terry pops out and does some detective work and is really confused about all these posters for the Doctor, because the BBC still exists in the apocalyptic future. That is resilient. Very resilient.
Never sets on the Queen's Empire, my friend.
Yep.
Sun never sets.
If upper lip. So Matt we've got to keep making the Doctor. It's for the people. It's like, there's animal people, spider robots. We've got to keep making Doctor Who. It's just the way it is.
This time he'll be a chimpanzee.
Yes. Matt discovers that the Justice League Watchtower has crashed in Metropolis, and he hopes to find resources and tech in there that he can use. And he gets attacked by the animal people, and he calls them splicers, because it's not commandy stuff, it's Batman Beyond stuff. Clever misdirect there, guys.
Well played.
Yeah. So Batman...
But still poo piles everywhere, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have a bunch of jackal people walking around.
There are shanty towns where people are trading goods and services and stuff, and there's still poo piles.
Is there comedy clubs full of jackal people, and they're just like, hee.
If only. So,
I love doing Metropolis on my circuit. Every time I show up, the audience is so into it.
Well,
I slip on poo every time, but still.
There are a lot of bare brick walls that you can just walk anywhere in Metropolis and start doing your stand-up routine. So, you know.
Touche.
So, let's see. Where the heck did I wind up? So, Batman Beyond shows up to help out Matt. He gets beat up by the splicers, and the Green Lantern ring flies off, so Matt goes and follows it, only to find out that the Justice League are somehow still alive and in tubes, thanks to Dr. Abel Cuvier, the animal hybrid lifestyle mad scientist from the cartoon show.
Okay.
And now he's going to experiment on both of them and probably the Justice League.
Does he have Hawkman?
Yes, well, this is the Justice League Beyond, so you've got like the little Asian kid... Green Lantern, Big Barda.
Rebirth of them or whatever.
Maybe. It also kind of doesn't connect with, well, if like the black and white suit Superman is there, then who was the red and blue spider robot?
Touche.
Well, there's some questions there, which might get answered. I don't know. But right now we've got a bunch of Justice Leaguers in tubes. And
well, I just meant if he was an animal splicer guy, you would think he would immediately jump on Hawkman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just for ease of branding, he doesn't really have to change too much.
Yeah,
he can just, I put some hawk heads on you, and I think we're good.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Easiest job ever.
Who's next? Spider-Man? I can do this. Let's just slap some
No.
No? Oh, okay. I ran out of animal people. Cheetah? Is she there?
She's already an animal person. So
that's even easier.
Join up. Yeah.
That's a Friday
no
job
work at
right
all.
there.
Yeah.
You show up and you go, done with Cheetah, and move on with your day.
I do
Early weekend.
I do like the final visual is just like all the Justice Leaguers in tubes, and there's like a little Green Lantern ring just plink, 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 trying to get into the Green Lantern one. I thought it was cute.
That is pretty good. Pretty good.
Are we doing a break, or are we just going to head down barrel through?
I think I'm just going to do detective, and then we'll take a quick break.
Okay.
or do you want to do detective after the
I don't
break?
care.
I just figured put all the Batman stuff together
enough.
and do its thing. Plus, it's not too long of a run here. It's gritty. It's noir. It's crime time. Because it's Detective Comics 47, 48, and 49. Tomasi taking over the reins on this one. And it is very much so a let's get back on the beat with Gotham's finest style. Batman hanging out with the other cops that know he's Batman and them trying to solve murder mysteries. And it's so good for me for that. I've really found I've really blossomed into enjoying the crime style novella, old school comic bookery. I don't know why. I just it really seems to resonate with me after the Catwoman stuff with the underworld mob gang, all of that storyline. Just a hard boiled detective story type thing. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of getting into this now. I was never really into that genre.
Check out some Brubaker.
Yeah,
some of his
I'm
creator
kind of
and
digging
stuff
it now.
like Criminal or Incognito, right up your alley.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a shot. So, this time though, it's Gordon and Bullock tracking down a peculiar set of murders that end in historical recreations with the victim removing one particular bone from each of his victims. And it's, all seems to be perpetrated by this man who channels the mask that he wears. Like he'll put on a mask of some historical figure and then he speaks in nothing but quotes of what that person said or writings that they have done, or like he's just verbatim puts on the mask and he is that person just reading off all of the things that they have done. And he themes all of his murders in the exact same, I guess, style is the best way to put it. There's a lot of theater in his kills, and it's stuff like he dresses up some guy completely like George Washington and then shoots him with a flintlock pistol, like a duel style, and leaves him in an alley, and that's how they first get turned on to these murders, and then they find out that one of his arm bones is missing.
You're
and
just
like,
trying to do a production of Hamilton. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we completely dropped the ball on this production of Hamilton. This Washington kept showing up, and we're like, no, Washington, this has nothing to do with you. This is Hamilton's time to shine. You have had plenty of shows about you already, sir. Get on outside. And he just kept coming. And then there was a rap battle, and someone had a flintlock pistol, and things got out of hand. His arm bone fell out, and that brings us to now.
Okay.
There's another one where Neil Armstrong, he dresses up like Neil Armstrong and takes some homeless guy, puts him in an actual spacesuit from that time frame and straps him into a weather balloon and just lets him fly off into the stratosphere, where he suffocates and dies and crashes down back into Gotham, and they find him in a spacesuit, all like mangled and asphyxiated and missing a bone as well. And they're like, starting to think we might have a mass murderer on our hands here. But there's this wonderful part where they go to the morgue at Gotham City. No bill. No, and there was no freelance morgue people there either. So if we want to go back to that, this is an actual city employee of the morgue, an actual coroner. No freelance coroners allowed anymore after that last fiasco in Catwoman.
Coroner Bill, I miss you so much.
But when they're down there trying to figure out what happened to the guy that was launched up into the weather balloons, turns out Harvey Bullock, big space nerd. He goes home and feeds his cats and cuddles up with them and watches History Channel every night after a rough walk on the beat. And I'm like, you know what? This is how you make me like a character. Sincerely, I'm not even being sarcastic. Stupid little shit that is just organic in the way it's introduced, as far as like that fleshes this person out as to who they are. I.e., when we were doing the Buccellato issues of this, and it was him just going home to feed his cats real quick before going back out on the beat, and him like listening to his messages while he's just getting the tins out and his cat is running around his house and everything. And I'm like, it's just the little itty bitty things that make Bullock feel more alive, or any of these characters that you just organically toss in there. And in this one, it's just, I watch some History Channel and I go home, I crack open a beer, and I like space. I'm sorry, man. It's my thing. I like it. And, it just feels so good to have well-rounded characters like that. So I wanted to really accent that and point it out and say, yay, good job, everyone involved. I love that shit. I really do. I love it. But then the next person that the murderer goes after is some teenage girl that he straps in Joan of Arc armor and tries to burn her at the stake in the middle of Gotham City. And Batman shows up, Jim Bat shows up and saves the day, saves her, lets the killer get free so he can save her. And as they're all trying to figure out what to do next, our killer has recreated a Civil War era squadron and dressed them, armed them, murdered them, of course, and then put them in parade formation on horseback to march down through the streets of Gotham as all of the people of Gotham are watching, kind of horrified and I would almost say entertained as well. A lot of the theme they're going with is that there's so much theatric in it that it's the people can't help but watch. They can't help but bust out their cell phones and take their videos and post it out for the rest of the world. And Gotham is polluting the entire world with its special brand of crazy. And this guy seems to be playing off it and making these big theatrical poses and everything and situations to get it out into the world and let the craziness of Gotham infect everywhere else that probably wouldn't work out very well for the rest of the world.
No.
They don't get as much rain. It's not nighttime 20 hours out of the day there. I mean, it's Gotham really is its own ecosystem.
Yes.
You really can't take it. You can't take the Gotham out of Gotham City is all I'm saying there. That's all I'm saying. But as I said, very hard-boiled detective work with them. It's more about how Jim and Bullock are trying to assess what's important to them than it is about a crime superhero punch 'em up style thing. It's like Bullock is very, I just want to get home, take care of my cat, watch some History Channel. I understand where you're coming from. Jim's just watching over Barbara all the time. Like every single time he's on patrol, he just swings by her house real quick and it's just like, who is this Greg guy? I don't remember any Greg guy. And then goes about his night and everything. It's just they have like a phone call where both of them are in costume fighting crime and they're both again dancing around the subject that they're Batgirl and Batman at the moment. And it's just like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, just grabbing a beer before I go home and fall asleep watching the game. How about you? Oh, another all-nighter of studying. Well, you be safe. You know how that pepperoni affects your stomach. Ha 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 ha. Love you too, Dad. See you later. And then they both hang up as they're punching people. I love that. I really do. Yeah. That again, much more engrossing to me than the big scale lunacy shooting Jupiter and making it a giant butterfly net. To me, that feels more organic, more homey, I guess. I feel like I'm more attached to the story in that situation. I'm not shooting down Action Comics whatsoever. That's the storyline they're going for, and I absolutely adore that style of story when I'm doing it. But when it comes to a detective comics, I think this is much more of a fitting home for this style of storytelling, and I enjoy it quite a bit. So, sorry, I know I rambled there for a minute, but I do love it. I love it so. I love it so.
You're allowed
to. So what do you have coming for round 2?
I've got
short round 2.
I've got Green Arrow and Midnighter.
Oh, Midnighter. And then I'll be wrapping us up with Green Lantern. Oh, things get real in Green Lantern. And Swamp Thing, number 2, a little bit of some old school time. So hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go through those books.
And we're back!
We are back! We've returned in our...
We're just here to do the DCR shuffle.
The DCR? Is that like the Icky shuffle? Is it
similar?
Is it at least like, do I wiggle my hips?
Yeah.
I'm wiggling. Mm-hmm. I'm wiggling. Is this the DCR
just
shuffle?
Just start doing the converged
Not
dance,
again!
Okay?
We never bring that up again. Real quick, before we jump into the next book, as an aside to my lovely love letter to Detective Comics and its style, I was saying how I didn't really like the detective books, the crime drama books, and it really didn't spark any interest in me in the past, and it's starting to turn on. Grayson did the same thing with spy books to me as well. So maybe it's just good storytelling that I'm looking for.
Maybe
that's what it is, and maybe I haven't had that in those styles before. Not really, and so your mileage may vary, but if you're not into those scenes, maybe you'll have the same thing. Maybe if you weren't into spies and you're digging Grayson, maybe if you could give Detective a shot and see if you like the drama stuff. So again, sorry, moving on.
Moving on to Green Arrow, number 49.
Guerrero.
But first, previously on Green Arrow. So, Jefe, the drug dealer...
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, silly me, I totally forgot about the... Or breed, I believe I always refer to it as. So, Jefe, the drug dealer / bone enthusiast, serves the ancient Aztec / Mayan, I don't know, god of death...
What to do your homework, Brian.
The god of death, Apuk, to keep his son alive because he was born with all of the remnants of the drugs he uses in his body.
Okay. This seems logical.
So all of the bones and stuff are sacrifices to keep his son alive. So he's going to kill Green Arrow to add to his bone collection. But Tarantula comes back to apologize and intercedes because the ceremony doesn't finish, Hefe's son starts throwing up blood, and then death moths, and then the death moths of Akpuk eat El Jefe. And then
okay.
Just maggots and larvae and death moths crawling out of El Jefe's son's eyes.
Is still Zurcher doing art on this?
Yes.
I'm sure that looked very lovely.
It surely did. Yeah, so Ollie, George the Wolf, and Tarantula are all safe. And after dating a canary and a zebra, Ollie goes, well, I guess I may as well check insect off my superhero girlfriend bingo card. So...
Oh, Zebra, how we miss you. We knew how well you two were together.
Mm-hmm. Such a long, loving, deeply felt relationship.
Well, that issue where you just showed up and you guys were in a relationship and then inevitably weren't.
Your inevitable betrayal. Your sudden and inevitable betrayal is as sudden as your appearance in this comic. All right, so we continue. Then there was also, and now, even though it came out months ago, now we've got we are picking up from the annual where he got bitten by someone with a werewolf disease at a parade.
Yes, because this is where you go with Green Arrow when you're doing political style storylines. You go to Werewolf Green Arrow, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, here we go. Yeah, Let's do it.
So we continue Ollie being bit by a warg and contracting the Leucos disease and slowly turning into Green Wolverine.
Does he just say bub a lot?
Bub snicked. Like he put
snick,
it's
bub,
like
bub, snick,
bub,
beer,
snick, bub, yeah.
Beer, cigar, snicked.
Yeah. So at first he likes having dog senses, and then he meets up with a friend who looks after his family's land off in these snow-covered mountains, and his son has Leucos as well, but he's gone full lycanthrope and almost eats some friendly skiers.
Well, that's not good.
So the friend has to shoot his son, and when Ollie almost wolfs out on the skiers, he thinks, maybe being a werewolf isn't as cool as Michael J. Fox always made it seem.
I'm not in high school anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not even on the basketball team. What powers are these going to grant me?
He does still surf on top of a minivan out of the snowy mountaintop slowly while the sun sets in front of him.
You're being facetious
yes,
right now, right? Okay, thank God. I was going to say, that's some homage level stuff right there.
Yeah. That's how I would write this issue, and that is why I do not write comics professionally.
Was it basically he was all like, I love having all of these super dog senses, and then he went to hang out with Fifth and was like, whew!
Man.
Whew, you need to take a shower, buddy.
Ripe.
We got to get rid of this lycanthrope stuff now. Yeah. If this is my team, no.
Nope. Yeah. I'm not quite sure where they're going, but I'll continue along for the ride, I suppose.
I was reading on Reddit where people were saying he still has a very warrior poet style narration box kind of thing going on.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he kind of waxes poetic quite a bit whenever he's doing it. Is that style still working for him? Because I know it was basically born out of the whole, holy crap, I lost everything and then had to fight and found out my dad screwed me over and all this stuff, and now he's kind of trying to find himself and leaving the city itself to kind of go out and do his own thing and figure out who he is, and that's why he's waxing poetic.
Yeah, and there was some stuff in the Jefe storyline where just like, oh, you're so important, Oliver. It's like, I don't have any superpowers or anything, and he's still trying to like sacrifice him and get his bones because they were important or whatever. Maybe he's gonna fashion an arrow out of his femur or something. I don't know. That was what El Jefe did.
Yeah.
So maybe this maybe because it's taking it's out of order. It seems a little odd. So maybe him just trying to grab onto anything that could be considered a superpowered so he can feel more like a superhero.
Okay.
I could see that possibly being a thing.
Yeah, I can see that too.
It's just sort of out of order, so it seems a little odd that suddenly, 2 or 3 months later, I'm a werewolf.
Well, maybe if he goes and sits in a kryptonite chair or something,
maybe
he could get those powers. Because radiation helps people, I think. Right? Isn't that good for people? I think it is. Yeah. He can just take some rat away and he'll be fine.
Yep.
Good old Fallout logic. Don't drink the water, though.
Maybe Felicity can show up and make some jokes about dogs and how much she knows about dogs.
Well, yeah, I'd be fine with that. It sounds like it's at least interesting. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not running in place. That's for damn sure.
Nope.
Do we get any other characters that pop in?
Emiko is
yes, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, there is a scene of Emiko. There's just a list of all of her texts. Like, hey, Ollie, where are you? You dork, show up already. Are you brooding on a mountaintop somewhere?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Good. So she hasn't been abandoned. Thank God.
No.
She's been out of the picture for a little bit, and I was like, oh, come on back. I know she was being the quote-unquote Green Arrow of Seattle while Ollie's off doing his thing, but, it was still I like her being in there in the mix. I thought she was a good foil for him, and I like her a lot, so don't you ditch her.
Yeah.
Don't you ditch her.
She's still there, don't you worry. George the Wolf is very important right now, but Emiko's still there in the background.
All right. Then I'm A-okay with this.
Yes. And I will say, there was an awesome Ollie appearance that I need to point out because we're not covering it.
Okay.
In Superman American Alien #3.
Yeah.
There is, I don't want to give it away because it's the most brilliantly ridiculous young Superman story I can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
But
Green Arrow
young Clark Kent encounters rich trust fund douchebag Oliver Queen, and it's great.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn it. I still haven't gotten my singles for that one yet.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I have the first two, and I haven't swung by the LCS to pick up the copies of those ones.
You will love it.
Yes. Does it show how awesome Green Arrow actually is?
Not at all.
Oh, no. Well, let's do some hard traveling heroes, though.
Okay.
Because I got Green Lantern coming up right now. Green Lantern number 49, 47, 48, and 49, where Hal has come back home to Earth. He's told his little pirate bandit crew and his spaceship, yeah, you guys go somewhere else. I'm going to go back down there and check on my little bro, see how my nephews and nieces are doing, and make sure everything's okay. I just need a breather from being the most hated villain in all of space. Yes, I know. I self-proclaim myself the most hated villain in all of space, and no one actually believes it, but still, I need a break from it. I'm going to go home and check on them. And they go, okay, whatever. And they go flying off to, I assume, to go smell the roses some more, like we saw in that one issue where they were set off. Literally go and smell the roses as they were told to do, and nothing happened. So anyway, he comes back home to visit his little brother, sets off the alarm, and the cops show up and go to arrest him, and he won't raise his hands because he has a giant energy gauntlet on one of them, and they're like, no, you'll be totally weirded out if I raise my hands. They're like, put your hands up. And he's like, guys, trust me, you're gonna freak out if I put my hands up. But then his little brother shows up and goes, hey, it's okay, he's my brother. Yes, I understand I'm gonna have to pay a fine. Yes, this happens every time he comes home. Something horrible happens. Last time the entire city was destroyed. This time it's $500 fine to the city. Whatever, I'm used to it. And they kind of pal around for a little bit. And they shoot the shit with one another. And they have this conversation where he's like, hey, is Simon Baz still watching out for you? Simon Baz, yeah, he was swinging by for like a month or two, but then he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. And they both kind of look at the camera and go, huh? And then go back to their conversation. It was a very obvious where it's like, well, I kind of left Earth as well as all the other lanterns to give him some space to grow and become a character of his own. He didn't use that time, huh? Did he? And they're like, nope, he just disappeared. Nobody knows where he went. Well then, I guess, I'll chill out on Earth for a while then. If the vacancy is open, I guess I'll hang here for a bit. It was just a very knowing scene. But he wants to go see his nieces and nephews, and his brother's like, yes, you can do that, but first you have to cut your damn hair because you look like an idiot, and I refuse to allow you my kids to look up to you and want to grow out their hair to look like you because you look like a doofus. So he cuts his hair and looks all normal again. And he's walking around still in his renegade trench coat with the body armor. And they're like, it's California. You won't be the weirdest person here. And they head on down to the Pier Carnival where they meet and they're hanging out and everyone's having fun. It's the best day ever, Brian. Best day. They're riding Ferris wheels. They're winning prizes at the games and everything. I'm sure Hal Jordan is not cheating, using his ring to pop the balloons or knock over the cups and everything. I'm sure he would never do such a thing.
Finally, a giant Rastafarian banana. I totally want to explain why he's wearing this wig to my children.
But then they end up having a bad day because the freedom fighters, the terrorists from the once proud nation of Madoran, have shown up to launch terrorist strikes all over the United States because after the Berlin Wall fell, their city-state was absorbed into one of the Eastern Bloc countries and they were basically dissolved as a country and they want to regain their independence as a separate country and no one really gives a crap about them. No one's even heard of this stupid little city-state, so no one's giving them any time whatsoever. And so they have been taken over by someone by the name of Sonar. Well, that's not his actual name, but that's what he's going by, who has developed sound bombs that translate sound into kinetic energy. So he sets up these sound bombs, and the louder a place is, the bigger is the explosion is going to be. It basically stores up all of the sound until it explodes in a giant bomb type thing. And one goes off at the carnival fair, knocking over the Ferris wheel and putting his nephew in a coma. And he's like, oh, you do not understand how bad of a time I've been having out in space. I will smote you, dude. I will smote you. Don't know where you live, but I'm going to go find that out right now. So he makes sure that his nephew is going to at least be okay. He's stable. He's still in a coma, but still stable. And flies off to Gotham City to meet Jim Bats for the first time. And he's like, hey, I left like a year ago, and it was Simon Baz was supposed to be flying around protecting this place as Green Lantern. Nobody's seen him. Who are you, and why are you in a giant robot bunny bat suit? Quite literally, that's what he said. So why are you in a giant bunny suit? And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. And he's like, oh, I'm the new police-sanctioned Batman. Ha ha, super cool. And he's like, whatever, I'll figure it out later. Obviously, if you're here, Batman has sanctioned it, and he would totally help me break international law. So, what do you know about Sonar? Where does he live? And Jim Bats kind of goes, oh, well, I can give you intel. That couldn't cause any trouble. I mean, you're a Green Lantern. I've met a couple Green Lanterns. They seem like stand-up dudes. So, yeah, he's
space cops.
Yeah, exactly. You should be fine.
Interdepartment, cooperation.
And he tells him there's a training camp over in Korak and tells them where it's at, and that's where they seem to be training all their people, and they'd probably be able to find Sonar there. And then Hal Jordan goes flying off to go take care of it, and Jim Bats is like, well, let me just check my database here. Hal Jordan. Oh, crap. Oh, I just made a horrible mistake. I should not have told him that information. And he probably shouldn't have, because Hal flies over to the training base and basically holds every single one of the people training there at gunpoint and says, okay, you're going to tell me where your boss is. And the leader of all the troops goes, soldiers, you know what to do. And they all throw down their arms. He's like, oh, cool. This is going to be an easy conversation. And they all go, free Madoran! And it detonates the sound bombs that were attached to the backs of their necks. Which, if that's the attack plan of this group, really not very threatening whatsoever. Like, if they ever attack you, you just yell out your window, free Madoran! All their heads explode, and you're done at that point. Army gone. No longer, hey, you want to know if someone's a terrorist? Just yell, free Madoran! And if their head doesn't blow up, you're okay at that point. Not the best training, but he rages out because he doesn't get any more information, makes a giant space octopus to tear apart the training camp, and then is just sitting there all depressed because his nephew is still in a coma. Which brings us to the present day, our newest, most current issue, where Sonar has released a press video stating, hey, you guys trashed our stuff now I'm really mad. We're gonna blow up all over the place in the States unless the UN gets together and just talks really, really loud about what they should do to get Madoran to be its own country again. I mean, you guys should really yell at each other. Just really, really yell at each other and figure this thing out until it's hashed out. So, you guys go to the UN building. Yell, make have a party too. If you guys could have like a discotheque going on in the basement, that would be pretty cool. Maybe like some air horn battles on upstairs while you guys are arguing. No reason. I just think this would be a really conducive way for you guys to debate this. And they go, this sounds like a very reasonable request. We will do so. And they all hop into the UN building. And Hal Jordan, being the genius he is, because no one else can figure this out, goes, wait a minute. He wants them all in there yelling at each other so the sound bombs will go off in the UN building, and flies in and finds that there were sound bombs in all of the headsets for the interpreters for each one of the UN members, and pulls them all off and contains the explosion, saving the UN. Hail the hero! Yay, Hal Jordan! You're not the greatest villain of all of space. You're a good guy. And he's like, no, shh. You're ruining my street cred here. I'm a bad guy. Grr, watch. I'm going to knock over your soda as I leave now. Space villain.
You monster.
You asked for half and half, and I gave you whole milk. And wanders off. You're going to have gas for the rest of the evening. And
I didn't completely seal the Tupperware on your lunch.
Hal Jordan, worst supervillain ever. Really, really was. But his nephew comes out of the coma. Things seem to be better. Sonar proclaims him his great nemesis, and he will stop him after all of this planning was done. He will find a way to hurt him and make Hal Jordan pay. But he's not the only one who's saying that, because there's someone else out in space who is also saying Hal Jordan must pay. And do you know who that is, Brian? Hal Jordan. Because if you remember from Convergence, there was a little Parallaxx Hal Jordan from 0 Hour.
Oh, yeah.
That went back in time to help the Superman from that time period fix Crisis on Infinite Earths and make sure things happen the way they were supposed to, etc. Blah, blue. He survives. He gets to live outside the timeline. He's doing the exact same thing as in Superman and Lois and Clark or whatever it is that they're doing over there. Except after he was done fixing the timelines, he flew off into deep space. He's like, nobody likes Parallaxx Hal Jordan. I'm just going to fly off into space. And that's what he does. He flies way off out there into deep space. But he starts hearing some rumblings out there in deep, deep, deep space. Hal Jordan's kind of a jackass. Hal Jordan's the worst villain that's ever come to the cosmos. He's like, guys, I haven't done anything in like decades here. I've been out in deep space just chilling. Man, that Hal Jordan, he's the worst.
Writing all these books under the name Parallaxx X.
It's just an extra X on the Wait, is this No, this is Parallaxx.
Oh, totally different.
But he keeps hearing these rumbles. He's like, what is this time frame's Hal Jordan doing? What is he making the same mistakes I made? Is he going all Parallaxy? There can only be one Parallaxx Hal Jordan. So he flies on off to populated space once more and checks it out, and he's like, sure are a lot of Sinestro people flying around out here. Huh. Well, that's not good. Wait, Oa's been destroyed? It's in pieces all over. What the hell is going? Wait a minute. All of the Green Lanterns are dead and missing. None of them are this? Who's responsible for that? Hal Jordan's responsible for that.
Hal Jordan.
The greatest villain in all of space is the one that, well, I'm just going to go have myself a little conversation with Hal Jordan, the greatest villain in all of space, so I can show him what the real Hal Jordan, greatest villain in all of space, is really like. It was a nice little story change that, one of those throwaway things that you go, oh, I'm sure they'll come back to touch on this at a future time. We said that at the end of Convergence, where all those characters went back in time to make sure things happen.
Very specific group of characters.
Very specific. But it's nice that the way they're making it cross over in the present day is very organic in the way that Hal Jordan has spread the word throughout the universe that he's the great villain that destroyed the Green Lantern Corps. And now his plan isn't really the best. There's actually that same scene where they're talking about Simon Baz, him and his brother. He tells him what he did, about how his plan was like, I was leading the Green Lantern Corps, and we got into a little bit of trouble. Maybe I'm not the best politician when it comes to intergalactic trade and peace treaties and whatnot, so maybe I cut some corners and ticked some people off, so I just made it so I'm the greatest villain in all of space, so they could all blame me, and then the Green Lantern Corps could have a restart. So I'm sure everything's hunky-dory, and his brother's just like, that sounded like a great plan there, Hal. Yeah. God damn. Just cutting his hair like, I should just not let him see my kids. I really shouldn't. I just should not allow him to see it.
It was so cute when my son was bonking him on the head with a frying pan saying, not the mama, and we now know the lasting repercussions of Hal Jordan disease, always getting hit on the head with stuff.
Such a surprise that Hal Jordan caught Hal Jordan disease, though.
I know, right?
Such a surprise. Did not see it coming.
It wasn't named after him, but hey.
No, again, it feels very, very organic, the way they're doing their stuff right now. And a lot of folks that were not keen on the way the Green Lantern book has been going post Johns, try out these Earth issues, because I think they're more along the speed of a Green Lantern that you can actually get behind and enjoy. I like the space stuff myself. I think it's quite fun, but it was a wasted opportunity for Simon Baz, and they blatantly said so. They were like, yeah, Kyle's off in the middle of just Depression Central.
Yeah.
We banished John Stewart to another dimension. Hal Jordan's been off in space being a renegade. Guy Gardner, come on, guys. We left you the everything, and you did nothing. You've been eating cheesy poofs, watching TV for 3 months now. Get off your ass and get out there and do some Green Lanterning. So anyway, moving on.
Moving on to Midnighter. Midnighter.
Space.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of space.
All right. So, holy crap. Previously on Midnighter, in Midnighter 7, which was a freaking ode to New Year's Evil Prometheus, which is one of my favorite comics ever.
Oh, really?
Because December was a month designed specifically for us.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so New Year's Evil, if I remember correctly, it was all about introducing new villains into the DCU. And that was like their 5th week, was like, hey, it like literally came out on New Year's Eve or something.
Okay.
And so it was
like a 5th Wednesday of that month.
Yeah, so it's like, you got to read about Gog, who has just showed up in Kingdom Come, and like, whoever the like evil like twin acrobats were in Resurrection Man, and yeah. And
the Body Devils.
Body Devils, there we go. Yeah. And Prometheus, the new Justice League villain. And it kind of filters the old Grant Morrison story through a Midnighter filter, where it's just a lot grittier and things are being seen from weird angles and stuff like that.
Sure.
But it plays up on the whole thing of Prometheus's parents were like a Bonnie and Clyde wannabe like criminal team, and they would take him along on their
Do they at least have a booster seat? Were they following
I think they did.
traffic rules and stuff?
I think in the original one he was in a booster seat, as they were like shooting machine guns out of the back of a convertible saying, you can't take us, they'll never take us alive, copper, see?
But 5-point buckles,
exactly.
So gotta make sure those hooks are in there.
It was the mid-90s, so maybe it was only 3 points, but you know. It covers everything about how when his parents died, he blamed the cops. He blamed justice. In the case of this, it was, at least in the case of Midnighter, he blamed, like, in the old ones, he just blamed all superheroes, any kind of hero in general. But this, he's really focusing on the quote-unquote heroes who still kill to, get their way, so he could really focus on Midnighter.
Well, yes, that would probably be number one on that list right there.
Yes. But his parents get killed, and he goes and he travels the earth learning all these weird dark arts as like an anti-Batman, and does
he still have a mini disc player?
Still haven't gotten any confirmation on that yet.
Oh, come on!
He's got the little wings on his helmet, but I'm not sure what's underneath him. I still think it's just a Wi-Fi signal thing, but yeah, but he still got his cosmic key that opens up a spot in the, I think it was eventually became the negative zone, but it might be not the negative zone.
No, that's someone else's stuff.
Phantom Zone.
Yes.
Phantom Zone, yes. The Phantom Zone. He's still got his crooked house and everything.
I know you really want to talk about that all new, all different Avengers, but come on, man.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, in this issue, he pretty much reveals his big thing. He's like, haha, I hate you, Midnighter. You're the worst. We're just going to beat the crap out of each other all issue. He like stocked his like childhood home with like stuff from Midnighter's past life that he can't remember.
Okay.
Because for whatever reason, when he raided the God Garden or whatever, Prometheus was able to download all of the information about Midnighter's past life into his brain. Yeah, because the Gardener at least had
all of that info, and she was holding it
from
him.
So now Prometheus has the only copies of that. And he's like, haha, I'm gonna kill you, but if you kill me, then you'll never know who you are. So you can't kill me. And Midnighter does
My only weakness, not murdering someone.
But Midnighter still just like murder, death, kill, like double chops him across his ears. And so he passes out and he's barely able to like summon his cosmic key and like live to fight another day. But I don't even know if Midnighter is 100% sure if he died or not.
Sure, he was like, whatever.
Oh, well. He disappeared.
I tried really hard not to murder you this time.
He disappeared in a flurry of white Kirby dots. That could go either way in comics.
I'm pretty sure he disintegrated.
Yeah. And so one nice little touch, which I wasn't going to mention, but for two reasons. He finds like an old childhood picture of himself. He's like, yep, that's me as a kid. And it's like all beaten up and flame scarred and stuff. And so he wraps it up and he sends it off to Apollo as as just a random gift.
Yeah.
Which...
Well, that was like the whole reason they broke up was because he had been lying about knowing anything about his past.
And so he's like, here, I have a past.
I'm on the trail at least. I'm trying to find out who I am so that, because that was the whole thing. Like, I can't be with you if I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I know how this ends.
And also, I just really wanted to point out that Apollo lives in Opal City.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Nice little touch right there.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just to continue to make this book even more for me, let's just throw in some Starman references while we're at it.
Hey, we get some Starman stuff later too.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. So in Midnighter 8, Midnighter has a team up with Freedom Beast.
Yes, we've been waiting for this. I mean, I don't know how much the fans have been writing in saying, when is Midnighter going to team up with Freedom Beast?
Yeah.
I can't even count them. It's 0, that's why I can't count them, but still.
So bad guys stole his weird gas that can combine 2 animals into one animal so that rich businessmen can big game hunt new weird animals. So Midnighter teams up with Freedom Beast to stop them. And
it's my koala-roo.
Damn it.
Oh, did I steal it? Yes!
No. I've got a better one.
Oh.
Actually, that's courtesy of Kelly, too. It's just fantastic how when confronted with the strangest superhero in the DCU, a guy whose superpower somehow can fuse together 2 living animals and make a new, slightly more different monster animal. He's just Midnighter's just like, Garino, Liondillo, Koala Bee. Yep, this is Tuesday. And Freedom Beast's just like, this is remarkably refreshing. You're not weirded out by me at all.
Yeah, I fought the Wuzzles last week, so I'm used to this.
Oh, my goodness. So Marina gets out of prison. So they defeat the bad guys. Like Freedom Beast like combines like one of the like person that was in charge of this with a mosquito. It's like he will have to live out the rest of his day like this. And Midnighter's just like, yeah, I'm not cool with that. He just swats it. He's like, I'm totally cool with doing this. Don't worry.
That's on me. Sorry, everybody.
My bad.
Very patient.
Yeah, so Marina gets out of prison so she can be his new headphone sidekick, like he said he would do when he captured her originally. And then he gets recruited by Spiral to find the Perdition pistol that's been stolen by the Suicide Squad.
Yes! Bring him in. Actually, I was reading online where a bunch of people want to see Midnighter introduced into the Bat family as a guy that hangs out with them, just so him and Dick Grayson can pal around some more all the time.
I still think you should just build a Dick Grayson family and say nuts to the Bat family, and Midnighter's part of that.
Ding ding on the nose right there. I think you know what's going on.
Yeah. On to this week's issue, which begins with Spiral shooting Midnighter out of a giant gun into Suicide Squad's satellite headquarters.
Yes, because it's the only way to get there. I think that's the only way we can get people to space.
Things were blocking his doorways, so he couldn't get in there.
Well, yes, and there's no other way to get to space other than dimensional doors or cannon.
Yep. This is almost as good as the time Marvel Dracula shot vampires out of a gun on the moon into London. Captain Britain and MI-13 forever.
Oh, well, yes. Forever. I've actually read some of that stuff just because it seems so weirded out there, and I was like, that seems up my alley.
Demon Knights is Paul Cornell. Who would have thought?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
So he takes out some chumps and some of the most random cannon fodder supervillains the Suicide throws at him.
Was that pretty much Marvel's Stormwatch?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, just the weird, out there, crazy stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Touche. Sorry.
That's all right. So he beats up this like a super speed guy in a really cool way where he's just standing still and still beats him up. Pretty great.
You're faster than me 59 seconds out of a minute, but it only takes 1 second for me to hobble you. That's what I do. I'm crazy. I'm Midnighter.
This hypnotic spirals all over the place.
I do love how that scene played out as well, though, where it's just the speedster running around, and all of a sudden you just hear quang, and then he's on the ground like, my kneecap. And he's like, told you.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. When he gets onto the space station to destroy a space station and steal something from the Suicide Squad, he picks up a crowbar and says, "At last my arm is complete again."
Keeping all of the stereotypes alive that gay people love the musical theater.
I suppose.
And blow up space stations with crowbars.
Yeah.
I mean, these are some horrible
I thought you were so progressive, Midnighter. So he accidentally breaks the perdition pistol.
Another great scene.
Old Butterfingers.
It's off camera, and you're back at Spiral headquarters, and all you hear over the radio is plang, smash, clang, clong. And they're like, what's happening up there? He's like, oops, I dropped it. It's broken. My bad.
So, yeah, he doesn't want Spiral to get their hands on it because no one should have the perdition pistol. But then he finds out that Amanda Waller is using Henry Bendix on her side. I don't really know who he is, but I know he's a Wildstorm villain.
Okay.
And he has got some ties to the old Stormwatch Authority, whatever
and he has some ties to Midnighter's past.
Yes, because for the purposes of this, he trained Midnighter. Like, he even says, like, verbatim, that if the gardener was his mother, then Bendix was his father.
Yes.
So, and what Bendix wants to do is breed super soldiers with Kryptonian DNA and fight computers in their heads like his. And he's just like, so, Huntress, Helena, whatever,
whoever you are this week.
Yeah. Matron, I don't know. Do you think I should stop him? She's like, yeah, get him. Just get him now.
Do I murder him? Can I do that here? Is that allowed?
Get him.
Okay. I got crowbar. I can use that.
Do any means necessary. Whatever you gotta do.
I might turn him into a mosquito and squash him.
A little stereotypical carrying that crowbar around, isn't it? Midnighter, whatever, man. So at the end, they send in the Suicide Squad to attack Midnighter while he's trying to have a date, or he's being documented by...
He's being documented.
Someone. Yeah.
They're doing a documentary on the average day of a superhero by following around Midnighter.
Yeah.
Gotta watch out for those wuzzles, man. Yeah. They're a real pain in the butt.
Yep. So the Suicide Squad now have a guy named Afterthought, who I'm sure will survive past next issue. But
I kind of hope so. I think he's an interesting character.
Yeah, but he can see 5 seconds ahead in time because he's got some kind of quantum engine in his brain. So he can get the drop on Midnighter before he can see everything in advance. So, hey, maybe Afterthought won't be an afterthought after all this.
Maybe. I think it's the... if you're gonna have villains for
Midnighter, I suppose you can't let him kill all of his villains. That can be his match.
That was actually the unless it's Multiplex. We go back to Multiplex being his quote unquote arch nemesis, which is just amazing to me. that could work as well.
Yeah.
No, I was reading online. I think it was on Reddit where they were saying about how one of the great strengths of this book has been that it's never about can Midnighter win the fight. That's a given.
Yeah.
He's gonna win the fight. It's how he can't keep the rest of his life in any semblance of normalcy or order or anything while he's just trouncing everyone in his professional life. He's spot on. I mean, he's due for a promotion next review period, but everything else in his life, he just sucks at.
Yeah.
He sucks so bad at it. And that's the only thing holding him back from being, like, held up as this... Well, that and all the murder. I mean, there is a lot of murder.
A lot of murder.
But that's, like, the only thing. So everyone's a little... Not everyone. There's a couple people that are a little concerned that we're going the route of, okay, well, this guy's just like you, but better! And then now you fight, mash the action figures together and see what happens. So I think you still need someone that's a physical threat to him.
Yeah.
but the emotional stuff is really the strength of this book, and I 100% agree with the people that were writing that online.
And the absolutely ludicrous high concept everything.
Yeah. And low concept. I mean, there's
well, yes.
There's some crazy stuff happening, and it's fun. It's amusing. Very stereotypical with the crowbars, as we said, but I'm willing to look past that.
Yeah, but they beat him up. The documentarian is like, oh my gosh, should I be filming this? I don't know. Like, Harley Quinn throws a bunch of grenades through his door and like blows up his apartment.
No.
And, yeah. Like,
my den of sexual conquest / informant gathering. No. That's where I take all my lovers and I sleep with them, and then I make them part of my network of spies.
Yes.
It works out well for everyone.
Yes. Here's hoping this appearance by the team that's going to be in a movie that everyone wants to see maybe get some more eyes on him.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think no matter what, I think Midnighter ends at 12 and then posts whatever the launch stuff is this summer that I think they're calling it Rebirth is what they're calling it.
I think that's what the Twitter picture said, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know anything about it. But then at that point, they'll reassess and maybe he'll get to start again or continue from where he was or go from there. But sales don't exactly keep my hopes that high. But
I know.
Regardless, if I get 12 issues like this,
we'll make a nice little trade or two.
Exactly. It'll go right up next to my Architecture and Mortality and Demon Knights and what else is there? Gotham by Midnight.
Yeah.
My collection of short-lived but beloved series.
Yes.
I have one section of my bookshelf for everything that we have loved dearly that didn't make it past 12 issues. Yes, my dear friends. Do I got one more?
You got Swamp Thing.
Speaking of beloved friends that did not make it.
Yeah. Also, speaking of, we're going to have to do Gotham by Midnight eventually when we've got more time.
Yes, yeah, we'll have to swing by, but I have 40 minutes to get this edited and posted after I do this book. So, Swamp Thing number 2 of 6, we're going old school. We are going old school. Or, if we go by Twitter commenter C. Murray, we're going derpy Swamp Thing. He's got the pupils. They put the pupils back in the eyes, so he looks like 90s animated Swamp Thing. And
who fights everything?
And C. Murray sent me a tweet, or sent the show a tweet, that just has a picture of him with like his pupils looking over his shoulder that just has derpity derp 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 written all over it. And I was like, you know what? I found that humorous. I laughed. I'm sorry. I laughed. But we're doing old school Swamp Thing as he finds himself trying to stop the murders of a super strong zombie named Laszlo Wormwood, who's like old school hulking zombie. Roar, barely can talk, eat your flesh, kill you for what you did to me while I was alive. Rawr, rawr, rawr. First fight doesn't go too well. He gets torn in half. Luckily, Swamp Thing, so he does reform. And he goes to try to find some people that can help him out with this. He's like, who do I know that can handle zombie type stuff, does occult type stuff? Oh, what's his name over in Opal City? Shade. Yeah, I'll swing by his house and see how he's doing, if he knows what to do with a zombie. And he pops in, he's like, Shade, my buddy, how's it going? Actually, it's like, the putrid monster of swamp gas and vines creeps within the window and no one notices him as he stealthily stalks his prey. It's very old school. It's dialogue boxes everywhere. It is, I'll come back to it. But he meets up with Shade and he talks with them and he goes, hey, Shade, what do I need to do to take down a zombie? And he goes, oh yeah, you have to do it the old school method. Here's a needle and thread and a bag of salt. You gotta fill its mouth with salt and then sew its mouth shut. And that should take care of your zombie problem for you. See you later, buddy. And Swamp Thing goes, yeah, okay. Talk to you later. Don't forget, you owe me one. He's like, no, I don't owe you anything, Shade. You never show up anywhere. So see you later. And he just kind of disappears and goes off to do his thing. Finds the zombie as it's about to kill its parents. Very graphically sews its mouth shut after dumping a pound of salt into it. Tries to use a needle and thread and it knocks it away, so he turns his finger into a thorn and just kind of feeds the thread through it, and then just stabs his fingers up through its jaw, and then and so shut. And the zombie just kind of goes and dies. And he goes, well, you guys should probably do something about that. Parents that are kind of responsible for this whole thing because you found a bunch of occult books and raised your son to be a zombie monster thing. I'm out. I don't do the cleanup work. See you later. And he just kind of leaves. And the cops show up right at that moment to find the parents hauling off a dead body. And they're like, hey, you look very conspicuous. You're going to jail because that's how we conveniently wrap up this storyline. And you get your just desserts like they used to. And you get them now. Yeah. And then Superman gets visited by the Phantom Stranger who pops in and goes, ha ha, oh man, you're doing Trials and Tribulations? I did that in my book. It's not fun, dude. It is not fun. If you see a dog, just run. Just run. Do not talk to the little mustache dog. He is a jack arse. I was going to curse, but then I have to remember I have to go back and edit, and I wasn't going to remember in time like I didn't do last time. Mm-hmm. Apparently, when I said, hey, don't worry, I have the timestamp, I'll edit this, I never actually went back and edited it and bleeped it. My bad. Sorry, everybody. So, this is Tales from the Crypt, dude. These are done in the same style that my first interaction with comic books when I was like 6 years old and I got grounded for grabbing my dad's old Crypt Keeper Tales from the Crypt comics that he had in a box in our basement, and I was reading about Confederate zombies trying to stop grave robbers from stealing their Confederate gold by drawing them down into a swamp. This is that level. I mean, I remember that one.
Explains a lot, I guess.
I remember that one exactly the way, I mean, it was fun, I remember, but then I got grounded for like a month and bad taste in my mouth for comics at that point.
I can imagine.
So it was very much a flashback to that era. It's all dialogue boxes. It's very, a lot of alliteration, a lot of, creeping and slurping and the art style is done with like the half shaded faces all the time because it saves time in the artwork.
A lot of muscle shadows with Kelly Jones.
Because you don't have to do as much coloring and artwork on it. It's just silhouette done. I mean, it's very pulp 70s feel, and that is a good thing and a bad thing, I think, in today's market, because a lot of people are reading like, what the hell is this crap? This is not anywhere in comparison to modern day comics, whereas other folks like myself, I mean, as a mini, it's 2 of 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a flashback to a different era that I wasn't even an avid comic reader at that time. I read one. I literally read one, and I remember it to this day. That's all it was. I read a book, I remember it, and it's exactly the same style. It evokes that same feelings that I feel like I'm going to get grounded for reading Swamp Thing right now. But it's a very of its time book, and I think some people I'm seeing are like, man, it's a breath of fresh air to see something like this new being written. It's not like a old story that I'm going back that I already know. I'm just rereading it or something like that. It's just a new story. It has some of the sensibilities and ease of modern day storytelling as far as the art itself, and the colors are obviously much more vibrant. It's not all faded out and janky colors where it's all like grayscale, it feels like. Instead, you're getting like very vibrant colors, but at the same time, it's done in the old school style. So if you want to check it out and see, obviously I only have one to judge it off of as far as old school 70s style comic books, but it completely evokes that feeling in me from my one that I read. But your mileage may vary. So if that interests you, give it a peek. I'm always happy to see Swamp Thing out and about, but obviously this is nothing like the Charles Soule era.
Not the Soule Snyder, no.
No, I mean this is a whole different ball game. If you read those and love them and you want more of that, you might have to wait a little bit longer because this isn't really that genre. So mileage may vary is all I'm going to say on it. But that's it. That's all of our books. Now I get to speed edit. Do the speed edit. And try to bleep out things like, I don't know, did I curse a lot in this one?
I don't remember.
I don't think I did. I think I kept it to a minimum. I was trying to keep myself very, very guarded because I knew I didn't have time for editing. But reminder to you guys, go out there and buy these books. We know something big's on the horizon. We've already said it before. Does your purchase right now mean that a book will survive after the relaunch? At this point, probably not. I'm going to be frank again.
No.
If that Frank guy, this is what he would say. The plans are more than likely already done and probably well within production right now if they're making a big to-do of new launches and everything like that. Like, they know who's writing what where and who's drawing what where, and people are already starting as far as design approvals and everything like that. So no, you buying the stuff right now probably isn't going to have an immediate effect of affecting what survives and what does not after Rebirth, but it does have a very big impact on what DC knows people like. I.e., if there's a huge spike in Midnighter, people will go, hey, people like Midnighter. We should probably figure out a way to get him in there. Like, I don't know, put him on Team Grayson and let him pal around over there.
Yeah.
You know, ideas. Just tossing it out there.
Yep.
But it would be nice to see some of these characters. There's a lot of quality books is what I'm saying. There's a lot of high quality books, and all of us know high quality does not mean sales. They do not equate to the same thing. People have their preferences, and regardless of whether the art and writing is top notch, does not mean the story or the time in which it's being told or anything from a tweet one of the creators or editors made that ticked off part of the fan base, so now they're not reading that book anymore just cause, even though it's a really good book and the people that are actually making it had nothing to do with that tweet whatsoever. I'm literally not specifying anything in particular. It's just, it seems like a lot of books get murdered by PR issues right now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird to me that that's how that determines the survival of a book right now, but whatever. That's not my place. That's not what we talk about here. We talk about stories and that's about it. But make sure you support what you like is what I'm saying. Buy it. If you buy it, people will notice it. That's the only vote that counts. You can do a podcast. You can write stories. You can, post all over all the message boards and Reddit. Unless you buy it, your vote doesn't mean crap. It's frankly how it is, folks.
Yep.
That's reality. Sorry to tell you. So what else we got? We got next week's books. We got more.
Find us on the internet.
Yeah, find us on the internet. We're DCR Podcast everywhere on Facebook and Twitter mostly, and the Tumblrs.
Yeah.
I think it's Kelly is the guardian of Facebook. Brian is our
guardian.
Tumblrina, and
Wait a minute.
and I occasionally try to quickly glance at Twitter when I'm in between board meetings and go, oh shit, and try to respond real quick all at once to the last 6 that I missed and get back to everyone. So
should they be spelled BORED, Sean?
No,
Okay.
no, they shouldn't, because that would be dumb.
Gotcha.
That would be very dumb. So, I guess that's it. We did. You have anything before we take off?
If you want to fill a Prez-shaped hole in your heart, you could track down the Hamilton soundtrack. There was a lot of hype behind it, and I was a little wary, and then I listened and was like, oh, it's all completely justified.
Speaking of, the Prez trade paperback came out this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I will.
I'm just casually mentioning that. Not that I would be hoping people buy that.
Yes,
but,
no, not at all.
Not a sales pitch whatsoever.
But also along the same vein, I've actually have a chance to hype it now. Top Shelf a few years ago put out something called Veeps, Profiles and Insignificance.
Okay.
Which is little, 3 or 4 page,
mini stories on vice presidents?
No, just mini biography. Like, it's not a comic. It's like all prose and there's little illustrations, but it's little 3-4 page, prose things telling you biographies of all of the vice presidents of the United States and just how worthless they were and how many of them didn't want to be vice president but wound up becoming vice president by accident.
Nice.
And, you get to find out which vice presidents were being hunted for murder while they were in office and things like that.
Little things.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like a good read. I'll have to check that out.
A lot of fun. I'll let you borrow mine.
Yeah. I'm actually sitting down. I know I'm late to the party a little bit. I'm going to play Lego Batman 3 this week.
Oh.
Yeah. I played the first level when it came out, and then I got distracted by, I don't remember what came out at that point, but then Fallout 4 came out, and, time. She is a cruel mistress. So now I'm done with Fallout 4. I finally finished it, and I get to sit down and play it.
Let me know how many hours you play it before you actually get to see a superhero that isn't Batman.
See a superhero that isn't Batman?
See a superhero that isn't Batman.
Oh, well, that was quick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the intro is all the lanterns.
Oh, okay. How long before you get to play as one of the lanterns?
By the end of the first level.
Okay, well then. That's
a
huge step up from Batman 2. So.
Yeah. You get the full Big 7 from the Justice League at the end of the first level.
Well, jolly good.
Color me surprised.
Yes. You're going to call it DC Universe. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I'm 2 years late to the party.
Beyond Gotham or whatever.
Yeah, I'm 2 years late to the party, so I'm going to sit down and actually play it now and have fun with it. So I will report my findings post-haste.
Very good.
2 years after the fact. All right, everyone.
You're just waiting to unlock Prince Saint Walker.
He showed up in the intro movie.
Man.
And they were fighting against Atrocitus and Sinestro and Larfleeze.
Is Dexter there?
No, Dexter was not there. But he is unlockable, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then they're like, Saint Walker, help us. He's like, I'm really only helpful with a Green Lantern around. I was like, no, you're not, Saint Walker. No, you're not. You quit selling yourself short. Goddamn world against me is what it is. So anyway, everyone, enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we're going to talk to you next week.